When you do well, you pay the price. So you come again and again and again. My dear friends, dear press, invitees, welcome to the 7th UN WTO WTM Ministerial Summit. This has become an event that everybody looks forward to. When we first started 7 years ago, it was difficult to try and recruit some of you to be speakers. Today, we feel very embarrassed when we tell some of you, please, can we do it next year or the year after? So please forgive us. We're all becoming so good at being well and connecting with each other, and we're doing a great job, all of us together, and we're very happy to see all of you here today with us. In the last couple of years, dear friends, ministers, visas and entry formalities and the existing procedures to obtain them were identified as a major barrier in front of healthier growth otherwise for tourism. Today, although much remains to be done, we can say that we have managed to place the topic of visas, travel facilitations and entry formalities on the table. APEC, ASEAN, OECD, World Economic Forum, the European Union, the United States and many, many other countries have done great progress. Only yesterday, the ministers of the G20 economies met to debate and discuss all of that, and to capitalize on the good achievements that was done last year at the meeting in Mexico, where the leaders of the most powerful economies of the world said, and I quote, "We should all work towards developing travel facilitation initiatives in support of job creation, quality work, poverty reduction, and global growth," unquote. All of this made us think that we should now start to expand our agenda and look into the bigger picture of what needs to be done. We need to continue building on the progress that we are doing on many issues, such as visas and entry formalities, but it is the political will that was generated and the political atmosphere that was created as a result of our collective work that encouraged us to expand our agenda. The fact that we have clearly advanced in this area is no reason for us to decrease our efforts in it. On the contrary, it is a stimulus to look beyond, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're looking beyond entry formalities into the broader concept of travel facilitation and connectivity in particular. We cannot promote destinations. We cannot tell people it's beautiful to come to our countries when they can't physically come to your countries because of complicated, expensive and cumbersome connections, and particularly connections. It's against all the challenges and the odds that our industry has grown. But our industry has grown, so has the transport industry and particularly the aviation industry. Let me share with you very quickly some of the results of the first 8 months of 2013. In the first 8 months of 2013, we exceeded all expectations globally and growing by 5.1%. We have forecasted at UNWTO at the beginning of this year that we will grow between 3 to 4%. We will definitely be closing the year over 4%. For the next 4 years, and I'm announcing this here firsthand, without very firm commitment, we are also expecting in 2014 another 4% growth, which puts us way above the 3.3% year-on-year growth that we are forecasting between now and 2030. But coming to what brings us here together, we must realize that over half of those, 52 to 55% of world travelers arrive to their destinations by air. Our destinies are linked, the tourism industry and the aviation industry. But despite these clear linkages between tourism and aviation, these seems to be like unknown siblings that don't talk to each other the way they should and tend to operate in silos. We cannot actually continue to operate in this manner, and we need to bring these two industries together. Last year, we did a small experiment, a very important breakthrough, again together with the people here at Reed Exhibition. In the Arabian travel market, with the presence of His Royal Highness, who delivered a brilliant intervention at that time, the ministers at ATM, the Arab Travel Market, started to debate the issue of connection between tourism and aviation. And we decided that so much has come out and transpired out of that event that we need to bring it to this bigger audience. This is the biggest ever assembled ministerial roundtable that we've had here in London. And it is indeed, Simon, as you correctly said, probably the biggest gathering of ministers of tourism of the world. I must say, I would take an exception with our General Assembly because it's our General Assembly. Let me, in that regard, just conclude by 3 thoughts that we need to put on the table, and I hope you would be considering them, and I invite Charles to take some note of them. Maybe they would help to promote the debate. First, economic regulations are very important. By economic, I mean the regulatory framework that connects to the economic situation are very central to the issue of aviation and tourism. Studies from the World Bank have shown that connectivity in all its aspects is closely correlated with the important economic variables, including the degree of liberalization of air transport, which is at the core of all of that. Much work has been worked and advanced on the trade part, but not on the passengers part. Minister Marie Mengistu, with us here, former trade minister of Indonesia, who is now a tourism minister of Indonesia, can shed some light on that and can show that the connection and the progress that has been done in connectivity with regard to trade can be emulated and can be used successfully when it comes to transporting people, which is what tourism is all about. Yet, in spite of that, reciprocity seems to dominate the scene. You do this to me, I do this to you. Reciprocity to us is like the concept of an eye for an eye. And I'm sorry to say that an eye for an eye would end up turning the whole world blind. We need to go beyond this concept and look at what really is of our interest. Second, taxations. While taxes are fundamental and legitimate tools for government, we must, as an industry, and I must repeat this again, we must pay our dues to our community, to our society, to our people. Air transport and tourism are legitimate industries to be taxed. But what kind of taxes? How intelligent are these taxes? We need to distinguish between legitimate, fair taxes and taxes that create distortions to the market. Taxes on aviation in particular are becoming extremely prohibitive and completely unintelligent, just to be polite about describing some of these taxes. 3, the concept of travel facilitation must be more broad and encompassing. Yesterday, a few ministers from Indonesia, Mexico, South Africa, and many others in our G20 meeting yesterday pointed out that we must look at the broader picture of travel facilitation and see not only the issue of how complicated it is to get a visa or how complicated it is to arrive to a place, but what happens after we arrive. Are our airports friendly enough? How long does it take between when a plane lands until I take a taxi outside of the airport facilities? How complicated, how interrogative are the officers in the airports, and how friendly, how human, and how pleasant does the travel experience start from airport or ends at any airport? These 3 issues, the economic regulation, the taxation, and the broader concept of travel facilitation are issues that I would be very, very thankful if we can shed some light on during your debates. My dear friends, today we initiate an important process. We will continue working on it. Just as we achieved great progress on the issues of visas, we will achieve more progress on the issue of aviation and its connection to tourism. I'm particularly delighted to see here with us very high representation from our sister organization, ICAO, the International Civil Aviation Organization, the United Nations organization mandated for travel by air. And I'm sure that we will be hearing the other side of the story just as equal as we hear the side from the tourism perspective. We will surely make our case stronger if we speak as one on the benefits of connectivity, on the harmfulness of taxes, and the usefulness of visa and travel facilitations. UNWTO will continue to be committed. Our work with WTTC, our sister organization as I call it, the organization that represents the private sector, has been exemplary. We've produced some excellent research together. We're doing advocacy together, and I'm very happy and proud to have my half-brother, as he likes to call himself, David Scousel, here with us, and I'm sure that he can shed some light also on some of what we've been doing together. Ladies and gentlemen, with these thoughts, I wish you all the best, and I invite you to be honest, frank, open, and let's make this the beginning of an issue that we can come in 2 to 3 years to proudly say it all started here in November 2013 with you being part of it, participating. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.